What's going on, guys? So there was a brand new MacBook announced by Apple today, and there's also a new sponsor on the channel, which is, just kidding, nobody. Let me not waste your time. I have a new job as a software engineer, more of that in a future video, but long story short, Apple is coming for the budget laptop segment, and Windows is continuing to crash and burn across the world, and Linux is slowly on the rise since 2001 at a snail's pace. In all seriousness, we have the MacBook Neo, and despite the absurd AI hype craze and almost high prices in anything electronics, the Neo comes in at $600 and the education store starts at $500, which is insane for an Apple product, especially when MacBooks have always been on the pricier side. I'll go over the specs real quick, and if you don't care about the specs and just want to know who this laptop is potentially for and where the MacBook Air stands now, go to here. By the way, this is not the MacBook Neo, this is just my M1 MacBook Air. So I don't want to oversell the Neo because I don't have the product yet, and I'm unsure how the A18 Pro will run in macOS, but the biggest selling point is the price. There's no fan like the MacBook Air, so expect this thing to run for a while. They claim about 16 hours of battery life, so I'll be curious to test that out. The display looks similar to this M1 MacBook Air and the older MacBook Pro Intel models, but it's not P3, it's just regular sRGB, which means it's not gonna be as contrasty or poppy in terms of the colors, but if you're just doing general browsing, it's not gonna matter that much. The keyboard is the same as usual. It's the Magic Keyboard we all know and love, and if you haven't seen the colors yet, they are finally some fun colors from Apple from like the early 2000s that we're getting in a laptop sense. We still have Touch ID, but there is a caveat to that. You have to add in an extra $100 to pay for it. And I'd say for the target audience for this laptop, it's probably truly optional. For the speakers, it is dual audio, similar to the original M1 MacBook Air, but it does have a slit on the side, so it's probably going to be pushing the speakers out towards the side versus the M1 MacBook Air has the speaker grills on top of the keyboard, I should say beside the keyboard. The microphones are dual as well. It's not like the 3-speaker setup that we have on the original MacBook Air. There's no Thunderbolt. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but they got to get the price down somehow. There's USB 3 and USB 2, which is kind of crazy, but hey, it's Apple. Anyway, their battery size is 36.5 watt hours, so that is a decent size. Could have been a little bit more, but once again, for the price, can't really complain when it comes to Apple because $500, $600 for a MacBook, still kind of crazy. All right, so let's wrap this up. I know, crazy short video, drop us up. So the MacBook Neo, who is this laptop for? And the answer is the casual. And I truly mean a true casual. For the longest time, I've always told people that if you don't do much on a laptop, get an old laptop or just get the MacBook Air. But now, if you truly browse the web and that's it, the Neo is probably the choice for you. Now, spoiler alert, my 30-day MacBook, 30-day Linux challenge, it's not really a challenge, just my experience using Linux for 30 days, is coming to a close, and I'm coming to the same conclusion that I came to about 10 years ago when I was using Linux, and it's that no doubt it is a great experience, but the MacBook gives me a pretty amazing experience with the ecosystem, my iPhone, all this other stuff that I have with an Apple, but still gives me like a sprinkle of Linux stuff. Like the terminal by far is one of the greatest things about macOS. There still should be some commands from Linux, but long story short, the terminal on macOS is leaps and bounds better than whatever I have to deal with on PowerShell. And I still get the ecosystem benefits of being with the Apple ecosystem on all my products. Now, this isn't me saying that macOS or the MacBook is superior than Linux. I think Linux still has its own case, but for me and my lifestyle and my personal choice, I truly feel like the MacBook is just Linux, but comes with some goodies from Apple. Like I said, I'm not saying Linux is dead, but it just gives people more options at this price range instead of buying an old laptop or using a laptop you already have, wiping Windows and using it for Linux. I'd say for schools, receptionists, parents, grandparents, your niece, nephew, children, non-tech people, the Neo is a potentially, I say this because I don't have the product yet, potentially a great product. The MacBook Air is almost like the new Pro, and this right here is, I believe, the M4 MacBook Air, and I don't think people truly understand how performant this laptop is. Like, you gotta remove the old marketing that Apple had. Like, the MacBook Air truly is a very performant machine. And I would say the MacBook Pro now is truly a model for professionals. And we used to clown Apple back in the day for calling the Pro a Pro when it sometimes rarely felt like a Pro model. But the past 6 years, the lineup that Apple has right now seems to be entering the end game. We have the high-end, mid-tier, I struggle to call this mid-tier, but MacBook Air, mid-tier, and then the Neo, when it does arrive, I would say is like that entry level into the Apple ecosystem. So Apple, I don't know who's in charge of your product line these past 6 years or whoever planned it out 10 years ago, but they understand what people want, and you guys are finally delivering. And finally, you got some fun colors again. My advice is, if you are into your career, just starting out with your career, you just want a laptop to use here and there, the Air is still my recommendation because it is a very capable machine. If you're on Intel, like we say in the South, and I've always said, bless your heart, because even the MacBook Neo is probably more performant than what you have, but only time will tell once I have it on this channel. That's just Apple's claims. And then the MacBook Pro is for, if you know, you know. If you want the Pro, you probably want the Pro. That's all I'm gonna say. I ordered the pink and the yellow ones because I know women are going to go crazy over that pink, and I need to get my women audience a little bit up, but the yellow is more of just a fun color. We've had the dark colors plenty of times on this channel. We have the silver color plenty of times on this channel. It's time to spice it up a bit. Go back to those early 2000 days of having those fun colors. So appreciate every single sub, like, and comment, guys. And as always, much love. This video was not written or recorded with AI. All me. I don't know if I should say that, but just thought I would disclose that to you guys. All right, peace. But comes with some goodies from Apple. All right, what's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? So there's a brand new MacBook, just like, and then the MacBook Pro, once again, I would say, if you know you need the Pro, you know you need the Pro. If you want a really good screen, get the Pro. Besides that, I order the, and then the Pro, and then the MacBook Pro is just for actual I'm not gonna say actual professionals, but listen, if you can afford it, you can get the Pro. And then the MacBook Pro is for, if you